Welcome to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Main, awesome wife and dog mom for life. I'm a sex therapist turned sex coach, and I run a successful business selling relationship enhancement products. I absolutely love talking about all things sex. So you can expect this podcast to explore all things related to women's sexual health because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you discover and embrace what brings you pleasure so that you can own your sexual self. If that sounds good to you, then keep listening and let's fucking do this. All right, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Warning, this episode may cause some arousal increases. But I figured what a great topic since it is Valentine's Day if you're listening to this in real time. If it's not Valentine's Day when you're listening to this, that's okay too, because edging is our topic of discussion today, and it is something that you can certainly include in your dating life and sex life all year round. In fact, I actually encourage that. Edging is something that I've learned about over the past few years, and I feel like I was edging before I knew I was edging, or I've been edged before I knew what it was even. And it's been really neat learning about this. As you've heard me say before, I stay a student of my craft, and so I continue to learn more about the sex world and all of the things, including desire and arousal and techniques and all the fun stuff. It's not just about toys and lubes and creams and all that in the life of Rachel Main. It's all the other exciting things. It's getting to know your body more. And again, having a partner that is excited to explore these things as well is very, very enticing for our love life as well. So I wanted to share just some information for you about edging because it's something that I mention in either in my coaching or when I do consultation calls with people. Specifically, I get a lot of people, men that set up consultation calls with me and they're wanting information on how to last longer. And there might be somebody that is already lasting a pretty good amount of time, but they're wanting even more, interaction for their sex intimacy. So, or if a partner is struggling with premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction, edging can be a really good technique to use for those instances, as well as if you're someone that has female anatomy. Edging, well, I guess for both sexes, edging is such a great, great technique to build up that anticipation. It's a great foreplay tool to use, and it's something really that is going to help increase and intensify your orgasm. So we got edging for beginners today, and to give you kind of the definition of edging, it is a sexual technique to build up an orgasm by teasing and delaying gratification right up until the point of orgasm. So essentially what this is going to look like between you and your partner is getting them very, very, very close to orgasm without allowing them at that point to achieve an orgasm. And so this is great, especially if you're someone in the bedroom that loves to be teased, if you love sort of that playful time, if you are each edging back and forth, taking turns. How incredible is that? I mean, really, to paint you a picture, let's say if you're someone with female anatomy, listen to this. Let's say your partner is going down on you and you're right to that point. You're clenching the sheets, you're thrusting up in the air, you're moaning, your breath is spiced up and it's heightened, and you're starting to feel that flush, your nipples are aroused, all the things that happen as we're about to experience an orgasm. And in that moment, they pull back. They start to lower their pressure or lower maybe the speed that they were going at that was just about to get you to that point of orgasm. Then maybe they take their time and they maybe explore your inner thighs a little bit more. Maybe they come back up and they give your nipples some attention, or then switch up and do some breast play. Maybe they move into maybe more of erotic massage. Maybe if they were only focusing on external play at that time when you were about to achieve an orgasm, maybe they pull that back a little bit and they give you some vaginal stimulation instead. Right? All these different things are included in edging. So to paint that picture for you, I told you, warning, this could increase arousal listening to this episode. So I love this technique because it is so fun in the bedroom. It's one of my favorite things personally. And again, there's some times where I've not been in the mood before when Danny and I get to go to having sex. And once that arousal hits and he continues to ask me in the bedroom, what do you want? What do you want me to do to you? How do you want this? There are some times where I'm like, I want you to edge me. Like I wasn't feeling it 5 minutes ago. Now I'm here, I am present, I'm all up in my sexual feels now, and I want this to keep going and going and going for as long as possible. Um, so edging is one of our favorite things, and edging from the male perspective, now to for the men that are listening to paint you that picture, edging could look like for you very similar. Let's say your partner is going down on you, you're getting a blowjob, and for women in general, we know, and okay, I should say an experienced woman knows when a male is about to come, right? Your balls essentially disappear. Which is so funny to say, but basically, if somebody hasn't came in a while, the balls are going to feel really, really, really firm. And I always freak my husband out when I say that. I'm like, you haven't masturbated today, have you? And he's like, no, why? I'm like, because your balls are so tight. Like that is the number one indicator that somebody hasn't ejaculated recently. Um, so anyways, your balls get really tight. And so when the person giving you that blowjob is experiencing that and they're giving you head, right? They're doing all their fancy techniques. They're doing all the things that they know that you love. Maybe they start to notice that your face is getting flushed and you're starting to grip up into the sheets. And again, you're starting to thrust up. Maybe you grab a head, maybe you start to stroke her hair, whatever it is. But essentially the balls are going to sort of start to dissipate. They essentially retract upwards. So for your partner to stop right before that retraction starts to occur, that would be how you would edge on a person with a penis. All right, and then same thing. Let's say then she stops giving you that oral stimulation, and let's say then she moves to your inner thighs, maybe gives you some nipple play, maybe some anal play if you're into that, or erotic massage, right? You switch to something else. So that's a little example of what edging can look like for both partners. And I will say, in most cases, how I've experienced, anyways, most of the time, I am the one being edged. Edging is my thing for sure. Um, and my husband, Dan, he definitely knows that. So edging is definitely included in a lot of our foreplay scenarios, which I just appreciate so much because, again, that helps prolong that orgasm, it helps intensify that orgasm. And especially for a woman that might not have been experiencing desire in the first place to even have sex or even getting to that arousal stage, edging is such a great technique because it gets you there, and it gets you there multiple times to where at the end, I mean, you're panting, you are wanting more and more and more because we want that orgasmic experience. So that again, so edging is a sexual technique to build up an orgasm by teasing and delaying gratification right up until the point of orgasm. So that's what edging is. Edging can also allow for longer sexual sessions. So it can also increase your sexual stamina and give you more controlled orgasms, which I think is really cool as well. So again, allowing for longer sexual sessions, there have been times where in our sexual experiences, we have edged back and forth, or I've been edged several times, and that has been our sexual experience. It sometimes doesn't even get to penetrative sex. We either both finish through oral stimulation or manual stimulation, and that, I mean, it was like an hour has gone by because it literally it gets you in the moment. It's so fun. It is so fun. It's so playful to be able to experience these things together. Increase sexual stamina for sure. So, especially for people that do have penises, to get them close to that achieving orgasm, to get that buildup essentially for them, is going to allow them to have a stronger, more intense orgasm, as well as essentially prepare them. So that is going to prepare them for the next future sex sessions to be able to last longer. So again, for somebody that is experiencing either premature ejaculation or even some sort of form of erectile dysfunction, edging can be super, super beneficial for these people. All right, and then more controlled orgasms. This really comes from the mental point of edging because especially if you know that you're going to be edged by your partner, there's a mental game to be played here, right? It's like we have that ability to allow our minds to just go there, to go to that orgasm. But when you know you're in an edging experience with your partner, to give yourself that state of mind again, to pull back and not allow yourself to get to that point, is first of all super powerful for you. Powerful as in like you have really good brain power to be able to do that, and really good focus. But it's also allowing you to control your orgasms, which really comes into play later down the road, again, as you become an expert in your own sexuality and explore more of these things. Allowing yourself to have more controlled orgasms is going to allow you more focus when you want to graduate up into, let's say, being able to squirt or squirting in different positions, or even having sex in different positions. All right. So here are 5 steps on how to edge the next time you're masturbating or the next time you're having sex with somebody. So number 1 is going to be to stimulate yourself or your partner until you feel you are right at the point of climax. This, just like you've heard me say about many things, edging is yet another technique where I'm going to recommend that you start on your own at first, instead of exploring and jumping in right away with a partner. If this is something, especially if it's something that causes you nervousness or worry, start solo. Okay, so starting solo with anything when it comes to sex, I think, is really just the best practice overall, so that you can learn and know your body in a better way. So being able to stimulate yourself again during masturbation or self pleasure, however you want to refer to that session, or having your partner do this right until you get to the point of climax. This is going to give you the opportunity to again learn your body. I mentioned kind of in my earlier examples of what the body might be experiencing when it's in that plateau stage, right on the verge of achieving an orgasm. But for you to be able to identify those yourself, knowing that you are getting very, very close to orgasm, that is going to be super helpful for you when you are beginning your journey of edging, which I just think is so fun. Okay, so that was your step 1. Step 2 is going to be slowing down or pausing the stimulation so that you don't climax. So again, like in my example I mentioned, if they are giving you oral sex, maybe they slow down their speed or even their pressure, or in this case, in the example here, pausing the stimulation, moving on to a different area of the body to give the focus to. So again, this is getting you to that point, and then you're pulling back so that you do not experience orgasm. All right, so slowing down or pausing. And again, look at this in such a sexy way. Oftentimes when it comes to sex, we just go too fast. It's like, okay, we have 5 minutes, let's get it in real quick. Edging is not a technique for the quickie sort of sexing. This is a time where you have the time, you want to take the time to do that sexual exploration with your partner. And again, I can speak from personal experience. There has been so many times where the desire was just not there, or maybe the desire was there, but the arousal wasn't yet there when we began having our foreplay. And then it wasn't until that arousal kicked in, or maybe he even edged me once, that I was like, okay, yeah, this is this is what I want. I'm here for it. Okay. So give this a try for sure. And of course, I cannot wait to hear your feedback on this and what you learned. Okay, number 3 is to wait for a couple of deep breaths so that you can, or your partner can, control the orgasm and not climax. This one is really going to come with, I think, your solo practice, because breathing is such a huge, huge piece of having sex. So, and this also looks very different for everyone. There are some people that really, really breathe through their orgasm or breathe through their foreplay, and there's other people that really they tend to hold their breath. So if you can wait for a couple of deep breaths, this is just going to be this is another tip for you as you begin your edging journey to go ahead and try. So deep breaths to see how that can possibly change. First of all, when you do get to that point of being able to orgasm finally, practicing some different breaths during that experience can be very, very enlightening. I'm like, what is the word I want to use? Enlightening for you to learn. So again, if you're that tense person, really try those deep breaths. And if you were already maybe the deep breath person, maybe try some of that tensing. I bet you are going to experience that orgasm in a very, very different way. All right, then you're going to start back up. And again, you're going to get that build up back to the point of orgasm. So think of edging very much like you would a roller coaster, right? And a roller coaster that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. That is essentially what your edging is. So you're getting yourself again very close to orgasm, not achieving orgasm, pulling back, breathing, focusing on a different area of the body, then focusing back to that area that you know is going to experience orgasm. And or how about this? When they travel and start experiencing and focusing on a different part of your body, let's say they go from vaginal stimulation to clitoral stimulation, guess what? You might start to experience that edging sensation in a different position or with a different technique or pressure than they were using the first time you were edging. So you could be edging from different points of your body because there are so many points of our body that we can achieve an orgasm from. You might even want to start incorporating a toy into your practice of edging, maybe trying different speeds of this toy. Edging is another, again, a great tool to be able to use with a partner when you're bringing in a bedroom accessory to your room. All right, so think again, that roller coaster up and down, up and down. And your step 5 here. So after edging for as many times as you like, and for you, this might be your decision to make at the time. Maybe it's your partner's decision, depending on what sort of role you're in the bedroom. But finally allowing yourself to release and have that orgasm, because ultimately we'd never want to withhold orgasms from our partners. We would never want to, unless they're consenting to this, unless this is something your partner wants. We don't want to edge them and then be like, okay, done. Okay, all done here. No, that would not be very nice, getting somebody to that point several times and then not, allowing them to experience that amazing orgasm that they are very much craving at this time. All right, so maybe this is a discussion that you could have beforehand with your partner. How many times do you want to edge? Another fun sort of dirty talk way is for you to even count for your partner and let them know during the edging process, especially if you are beginners to this, letting them know, I'm getting close. Okay, that was number 1. Can't wait for number 2. Okay, these sorts of things. So edging. I'm so excited. If you have any other tips or you have any feedback on how edging has worked for you, I would love to hear them. Again, I'll have all of the information here on the podcast shared on the Instagram. If you don't already follow me there, it's at the Rachel Main. And yeah, of course, I like to do reels. I like to do fun little carousels and slides for you on the information that I record for the podcast. Sometimes it is nice listening to things, but then also to have that visual content to be able to save or read is just a much different way of learning. And if this is something or any of the topics on the podcast or something that you've heard for the first time, I think seeing and hearing about it in different ways is super, super beneficial. So that is your topic on edging today. I have definitely had this episode slated for quite some time. I was going to have a guest come on with me to talk about this, but I figured Valentine's Day is the perfect day to release this podcast and get this very fun tool out to the listeners. So thank you so much. As always, remember, if you love this podcast, one of the best ways that you can help me grow the podcast and reach as many people as possible is to review the podcast, especially if you are on Apple or Spotify. Go to the show and you can leave your review right there. Of course, I love you and your 5-star reviews. I appreciate those. But that is one super quick and easy way to support me and also the podcast. So have yourself a wonderful Valentine's Day, everyone. Whether you're celebrating Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, edging is an amazing tool that you can use to own your sexual self. Hence why that is the podcast name. I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a thing. And if you loved it so fucking much, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I'll see you next week, and until then, keep owning your sexual self.